Hello, my name is Gilbert Hanson, and today I'm going to be talking about something that is very controversial, and that is media and how it affects both children and adults. Now, many parents and other adults seem to have this idea that if a child is taking in video games or media, that means that they will become violent in the future. Now, it has been proven multiple times through multiple studies that that is not how media works, and how it is more realistic, that does not conclude that children will become more violent. That's not how it works. But to go along with it and to help prevent this in the future, the simple way to prevent this is to stop parental negligence. Now, many parents will say that it is the video game's fault, or it's what they watched on TV that was the reason that their child committed an act. Or a child will say, oh, I got it from a video game, when in reality it's more the fact of when they did something, it was because they were looking for attention. Now, while many people still are fighting this and are still looking for many things to prove that their statement is right, there's a simple way that this can be prevented, and that is the ESRB rating, which is already set on video games, is set for movies, TVs. It is a simple rating system that says if you are under this age, you should not be taking in this media. And it goes from C all the way to A. A, of course, meaning you are not allowed to purchase this content, and you shouldn't even be taking in this content unless you're 18 plus. Now, many parents will say, oh, my child has matured very fast, he should be able to take in this content anyways. Or parents will say, oh, I'm just trying to keep my child quiet, I don't care what's on it, I just want my child to be quiet for a bit. And because of that, and they're not paying attention to what their child is taking in, that leads them to be violent, and leads them to do things and act out just because they're trying to get the little bit of attention that they did not get as a child. It is very heartbreaking to see this as someone who experienced this when he was younger. And when I was younger, I experienced this with my birth mother. And she was one of the ones who, instead of teaching me on rights and wrongs, stuff like that, she would sit me in front of the TV and say, here, use this will teach you. Now, luckily for me, the media that I chose to take in at a young age wasn't as adult as many other people choose. But as you can see, and as I've heard on many Call of Duty gameplay servers and through headphones on many of my very adult video games, I will hear children saying swear words and uttering many profanities that they should not be saying or even hearing. Now, many people say, oh, kids are more adult than what they were when they were my age, or oh, they're becoming so much better. But that's not how it works. Parents are neglecting their children. Just because you are feeding your child and you are making sure they're clothed and that they are going to school does not mean your job is done as a parent. You need to make sure that your child is studying right from wrong. You need to make sure your child is speaking correctly. You need to make sure the child is doing well in school. You need to make sure the child is growing up correctly. Just because your child is alive, just because a child is doing well, does not mean that your job is done. You can't say, oh, I was a pretty good parent, if your child is doing things or is committing crimes or is causing problems at school and you're getting calls from it. Now, you may say, and teachers may say, oh, it's because of the media they're taking in at home, or how is the home environment? And many parents will say, oh, it's fine here. And I believe and many people will ask, well, what's the way that we solve this problem? How do we fix it? Well, I believe that the way that we fix this problem is holding parents accountable when a child is taking in media they're not supposed to be. The same way that if a child is drinking, it's the parents' fault. If a child gets a hold of alcohol, or a child gets a hold of some sort of adult content, it is the parents' fault, and the parent needs to be held liable. Or whoever the adult is that got them that stuff, they should be held liable. The same way that if you enter a store and the clerk says, hey, this game is rated M for mature, your kid shouldn't be playing this, there should be a law put in place that says, hey, instead of it being just, hey, you shouldn't be buying this, it should be the same way with alcohol and cigarettes, that, hey, are you buying this for yourself or are you buying this for your kid? And if the parent says, I'm buying this for my kid, and he doesn't have ID or anything to show, hey, he's not an adult, if it's an M-rated game. If it is a different rated game, it will change depending on it. But it's basically saying, hey, if you are an adult and you are playing a game you shouldn't be, then it's that simple. That's the end.